Hello, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. Asylum seekers could be housed in the Prime Minister's own North Yorkshire constituency. Ministers say barracks at Catterick Garrison could be used. We'll get the latest from our political editor. Also on the programme tonight, Dewsbury-born Betty Boothroyd, the first female Speaker of the House of Commons, has been laid to rest. A solution to leaves on the line, new technology is being trialled in Yorkshire to keep rail services on track.
And I've come to a bus driver experience day in Leeds to find out how they're trying to recruit 400 new drivers. Don't think I'll be one of them.
A very mild but unsettled outlook across our region. Join me for the detailed forecast.
Hello, thanks for your company. First tonight, a surprise announcement in the Commons that asylum seekers could be housed in the Prime Minister's own North Yorkshire constituency. The Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, told MPs this afternoon that Rishi Sunak had put forward proposals for accommodation at Catterick Garrison to show leadership on the issue. Our political reporter, James Vincent, is here. He's been following the events. A surprise announcement, as we said. What more do we know, James?
Yeah, well, it's very important to say that this isn't happening yet. This is just an idea. So what we had today was two former RAF bases being allocated to asylum seekers, potentially, one in Essex, one at Scampton in Lincolnshire, and they've basically put forward this idea that Catterick might be a suitable place. They're going to have a look at it. They're going to see whether it would work in Catterick. Now, interestingly, in those other places, in Lincolnshire and in Essex, the local councils there are already talking about it being inappropriate, and they're already talking about having judicial reviews to try and stop this happening. If Richmondshire District Council wanted to do that, if they didn't fancy this in Catterick, well, they're not going to be able to do that because they won't exist in 2 days' time, because they're going to be ended up being merged into this big North Yorkshire County Council. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly the take of people living there. This is what the Immigration Minister had to say today.
In addition, my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, is showing leadership on this issue by bringing forward proposals to provide accommodation at Catterick Garrison Barracks in his constituency. And we're continuing to explore the possibility of accommodating migrants in vessels, as they are in Scotland and in the Netherlands.
So what was the reaction to this in the Commons?
Well, this has been a really heated debate in general over the past few months. What Rishi Sunak has done there is try to offer up part of his constituency. You might remember when Linton-on-Ouse was a plan for asylum seekers. People there, living there, and the Conservative MP said it was inappropriate, and then those plans were dropped. When those plans were dropped, and Rishi Sunak was a hopeful in the leadership campaign for the Conservatives, he said he was absolutely delighted and it was the right decision. Of course, it's a different site because Catterick is an operational RAF base at the moment. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what North Yorkshire Council say about this. It sounds like they've been taken slightly by surprise. They're preparing what they want to say this evening. This is what Labour wanted to say, though.
Today's statement is an admission of failure. Yeah. Maybe that's why the Home Secretary has asked the Immigration Minister to make it instead. 4 years ago, the Cabinet said they would halve channel crossings. They've gone up 20-fold since then. A year ago, they said they'd end hotel use. They've opened more than ever. They keep making new announcements, but it just keeps getting worse. Yeah.
And you said at the moment this is just a plan, but what is the timescale?
Well, for those other RAF bases, that there will be a faster timescale because it's actually happening there. There may be protests and disputes about that, but Catterick will have an assessment and they will see exactly whether it can be suitable for people who are coming here to seek asylum. The Liberal Democrats also not keen on the idea.
Well, we'll get counsel.
Why does he not invest in making sure that those appeals are heard quickly, those hearings are done quickly, so people can either be given the right to remain or be removed, as his government is failing to do? Would he agree with me that there is one thing worse than his and his government's incompetence on this issue, and it is the blaming of the consequences of that incompetence on the most vulnerable people in the world?
What I was going to say there, James, is we'll get counsel and local reaction in the coming days. Thanks very much for that. Next night, the funeral of West Yorkshire-born Betty Boothroyd took place today. Best known for being the first female speaker in the House of Commons, her life was remembered by family, friends and politicians following her death last month, aged 93. Beth Parsons has this report.
A spring day to bid farewell to Betty Boothroyd. Attended by the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer, her remarkable life was celebrated at St George's Church in the village of Thriplow in Cambridgeshire, where she lived in her later years. In a tweet today, the current Speaker in the House of Commons, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who was also there, wrote that Betty smashed the glass ceiling to smithereens when she became the first and only woman Speaker.
Order! I'd be much obliged if the House would settle down.
He added, didn't she climb some hills? From Yorkshire to the hills of Westminster, she took every challenge in her stride. And didn't she know how to do it? Fitting words, as the entry music, which had been chosen by Betty herself, was Climb Every Mountain, sung by close friend Dame Patricia Routledge. The daughter of mill workers from Dewsbury, Betty became the Labour MP for West Bromwich West in 1973.
So do I too, yes.
But the role where many believe she shone most, described by colleagues as a down-to-earth, no-nonsense trailblazer, was during her time as Speaker in the House of Commons from 1992 to 2000.
The honourable gentleman will resume his seat immediately.
I was enormously privileged to hold that position. And I went, I know, at the right time.
Betty passed away last month, aged 93. Reverend Angela Melaniffy, who led the service, said her funeral today included all of her life, and each part of that reflected how highly she was regarded. Beth Parsons, BBC Look North.
You're watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. We'll meet the unexpected visitor who travelled over 4,000 miles and hopped into a primary school in Leeds. But before that, let's bring you up to date with some other stories that have been coming into our newsroom today. A man from West Yorkshire has gone on trial in Edinburgh accused of murdering his wife. Fozia Javed died in September in 2021 at the landmark Arthur Seat while the couple was staying in the city. Her husband, Kashif Anwar, is alleged to have pushed her from height. He's also accused of behaving in a threatening or abusive manner a day earlier. Anwar has pleaded not guilty to both charges. West Yorkshire Police are appealing for witnesses after a biker was filmed driving dangerously through Leeds city centre on Sunday while taunting officers in a police car. Take a look at this video. The incident was widely circulated on social media and prompted criticism of the police for seeming not to act. West Yorkshire Police say an officer involved activated body-worn video capture footage of the suspect but made a tactical decision to leave to de-escalate the situation. They say pursuing motorbikes is only allowed by officers trained to the required level in a suitable vehicle. They want anyone who recognises the motorcyclist to come forward. Incredible footage that, isn't it? A former Doncaster councillor has been convicted and sentenced by a US court for his part in an international drug trafficking conspiracy. Daniel Barlow was arrested last year on suspicion of conspiring to distribute drugs known as magic mushrooms. He was due to be extradited to Ohio, but proceedings took place over video link after lawyers compared the case to the American citizen Ansa Koulas, who was sentenced remotely for causing death by careless driving. A debt charity says their latest poll suggests 71% of adults in the region have seen an increase in poverty in their local area. Christians Against Poverty say 89%, or 3.9 million people in Yorkshire and the Humber, think it's important more is done to tackle poverty. It comes as charities themselves are facing funding struggles. A 13-year-old pianist from Yorkshire has played a very special show in Leeds today. Oh, breathtaking, isn't it? Lucy Illingworth there, who's blind and neurodivergent, wowed audiences on Channel 4 reality show The Piano. Her incredible performance this afternoon marks the unveiling of a blue plaque to honour Leeds pianist Dame Fanny Waterman. Daniel Bath has been Lucy's piano teacher since she was 3 years old and spoke with us about the importance of making music accessible to everyone.
I think right from the first time I met Lucy, I could tell that she had that understanding of music. You know, it's such a blessing for me to be able to work with her, and it's really inspiring. You know, just someone who just is so musical and just, you know, just wants to play the piano and works so hard to achieve, you know, musical greatness.
She's got such a special talent, hasn't she? Bit of football now. Let's look at last night's games. Barnsley made a very long journey to Exeter without reward, I'm afraid. Barnsley's 12-match unbeaten run came to an end with a 3-1 defeat. Bobby Thomas was man or on the score sheet. Still, Barnsley stay 4th in League One table for now. Let's hope things go better for Sheffield Wednesday tonight down at Cheltenham. Meanwhile, off the field, Huddersfield Town are getting even closer to officially welcoming a new American owner. Though his takeover deal isn't quite completed yet, this gentleman, Kevin Nagle, is poised to take full control of the Terriers from former chairman Dean Hoyle. Mr. Nagle is 68 years old and currently chairman of Scaramonte Republic. Scaramonto Republic. No, Sacramento. Sacramento Republic, sorry, football club in California. Right in my comfort zone, as you can tell. Next tonight, leaves on the line. Bit more my kind of story. Is a phrase every commuter absolutely dreads, isn't it? It sounds daft, but it is a real headache. Falling leaves make for slippery rails, which can lead to all sorts of problems for the industry and travellers alike. Now the University of Sheffield have come up with a new way of clearing the tracks, and it's been made small enough to be fitted to ordinary passenger trains. Tom Ingle reports from the Wensleydale Railway.
The thing about these old Pacer trains is nobody missed them when they were retired a couple of years ago. But this one has a shot at redemption because it's part of a technology trial which could keep us all moving come the autumn.
Ask any train driver. The job gets much harder when wet leaves fall on steel rails. It's like trying to drive a car on black ice.
Delays, cancellations in extreme circumstances, you can have a train actually slide through a station. It's a very tricky 8 or 10 weeks of the year when performance dips by about 5%.
All right, Luke, go on, put it on.
To get rid of leaf mulch at the moment, high-pressure jets of water are sprayed by a special train onto the top of the rail. But it uses a lot of water, and that water gets everywhere, including into the electrical control systems for the railway itself. This approach is different.
The dry ice particle comes out of the nozzle onto the railhead. At that point, the solid particle turns into a gas and instantaneously expands 800 times to create this explosive effect that cleans off the railhead.
Paul Faraday has been on this project for 8 years. Not only is using dry ice, which is frozen carbon dioxide, a new approach, but this tech has been miniaturised so it can be fitted to a normal passenger train.
If we can introduce this technology onto a passenger train, we can alleviate the need for using a treatment train. So it doesn't clean it as strongly, but it cleans it more frequently. So the net effect is the same.
But besides Paul, future on-time commuters can offer a silent prayer of thanks to the University of Sheffield.
We were actually using the dry ice for a completely different application, and it was autumn, and we thought, oh, maybe we could use this for cleaning the railhead. It's what we should be doing as universities, is turning our research into things that make impact for people and industry in the UK.
It's a winner for the industry because not only is it a more effective treatment, but it's a lot cheaper. I mean, we've been basically doing the same thing for 20 years, so it's now time to advance and do something different.
The leaf-busting kit is being fitted to 2 old Pacer trains for trials at the Wensleydale Railway. In the autumn, they'll go out on the national network to prove the concept. If it works, as they disappear into history, the Pacers could take the phrase "leaves on the line" with them. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, the Wensleydale Railway.
Well, from the rail to the buses, a major recruitment effort is underway to get more drivers onto the region's buses. There's a shortfall of over 600 across West and South Yorkshire. Olivia Richwald has been to the John Charles Centre in Leeds to find out more and have a go by the sounds of it.
And then press the start button.
This is Gary's first experience driving a bus. He's spent 3 decades working in the building trade and wants something easier before he retires.
So career change, I mean, thinking of, and it seems to tick all the boxes. Something that doesn't involve working in the building industry. On the cold mornings, cold afternoons, wet, rainy. Just an easier life, hopefully.
Across West and South Yorkshire, there's a shortage of 600 bus drivers. It's one of several pressures facing bus companies. Transport campaigners say it's starting to affect passenger satisfaction levels.
If you haven't got enough drivers to run your advertised services, that means some services are not going to get run, or you're playing catch up all day. So a lot of services are kind of turning up late as you try and kind of square that circle.
This is what people in Bramley said today.
I think disgusting. The 16 never turns up, it's always cancelled. And then the 91, that ain't too bad.
The 508 is generally okay, but that's the one that they're rerouting to the Stanley bypass. Therefore bypassing us.
Could this be the answer? Volunteers turning up at today's driver recruitment day got a taste of the job with a virtual reality experience. If they enjoyed that, and I did, then there was a chance to head out onto the road. Well, a big empty car park.
And then mirrors and a little bit of gas just to gently away.
Ooh.
There we go.
The wheels are... Driving a 12-metre-long bus might seem daunting, but according to instructor Andy, it's easy when you get used to it.
What most people do, they get behind the wheel and it's kind of, oh, that's a really big vehicle, I'll never be able to drive that, that's just too much for me to comprehend. And then they get behind the wheel. Once they've been around a couple of times, they get a feel for it and start to get at one with the vehicle, and it becomes as easy as driving your car over a longer period of time. There we go, lovely. Excellent, handbrake on. Excellent job, how was that?
Fun, yeah.
Excellent, so we can sign you up for programme then?
Maybe. Maybe not for me, but others taking a test drive today signed up for more free training.
Right now I'm a delivery driver. I add something better to my career as well and my CV, so.
I'm looking for job security really. Getting a bit older, so fancy a career rather than a job.
And we've had probably around 150 to 160 people go through the programme, with between 50 and 60 of those actually are now in employment, with another 100 still going through. There's jobs for life pretty much if you're a bus driver.
Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, Leeds.
I'll tell you what, Olivia looked a natural behind that wheel, didn't she? I sense a career change coming on maybe. Next tonight, a special needs school in Leeds has launched a crowdfunding campaign to pay for a memorial garden after 5 of its pupils died in 6 months. Pennyfield School in Meanwood cares for children with very complex needs, and some have life-limiting conditions. The garden would also be a space that current pupils can enjoy. Abby Giola reports.
We are the children of Pennyfield School. We take a pride in the things we do.
They sing the school song at Pennyfields in Leeds almost every day. Every child here has different needs and capabilities. All are loved and cared for by the team of staff. Some pupils have life-limiting conditions, and sadly, in the past 6 months, 5 children have died. Now teachers want to turn part of the school grounds into a multi-sensory memorial garden.
We need pupils who have got visual impairments or sensory impairments to be able to access the area, so we need lots of flowers, we need lots of smells, we need tactile experiences in there for the pupils to engage with, and we want somewhere where we can sit and reflect as well.
The scheme has been planned to benefit pupils, staff and parents, and remember boys like Harry, who was 12 when he died 2 years ago.
Every day Harry would scream with delight as soon as he got on the bus. So it was really clear for everyone to see that how much Harry loved coming to school. And I think the Memorial Garden is a way of paying tribute to what a fantastic place this is.
Keep going down.
At the minute, obviously, Oakley is still here. With his diagnosis, he's not likely to be here for many years. Because the school has such a good vibe about it, it'll be nice to come here and remember him and what he liked to do here.
Pupils have been giving their views on what should be in the garden.
You would like red flowers.
I want Gruffalo.
Red. Red. And can you remember what your class friends, which colour did Benny say he wanted? green.
I think the sensory elements they're including will be great for all the children, and it'll just be amazing to have somewhere they can come, you know, have fun, but also remember their friends.
The school has been given a £10,000 lottery grant towards the project and will need another £5,000 or £6,000 in crowdfunding to complete the work. Abby Jaola, BBC Look North, Leeds.
What a lovely idea. Hopefully they'll raise that money in no time and we'll go back to see how that fabulous new park looks. Now brace yourselves, sisters. The Habit is in town. The brand new musical Sister Act is currently on at Leeds Grand before moving on to Sheffield Lyceum in April. The feel-good musical, based on the hit movie starring Whoopi Goldberg, promises to have not only the nuns dancing in the aisles.
Oh, where is our salvation?
Dolores Van Cartier is such a buzzing, energetic character. She's so much fun to play. She's so naughty. I love playing her.
I play Eddie Souther, and I'm the police sergeant who takes Dolores Van Cartier, Sandra, to the convent.
Sister Act is based on the 90s hit movie starring Whoopi Goldberg. Disco diva Dolores' life takes a surprising turn when she witnesses a murder. Placed under protective custody, she's hidden in the one place she shouldn't be found, a convent. This brand new musical has been nominated for 2 Olivier Awards and is a crowd pleaser. This is your second week performing in Yorkshire. What's the northern crowd like?
The audiences are phenomenal. It's really great seeing them at the end all like waving or up on their feet dancing.
Yes.
We love a nun, a singing nun.
A singing nun. I've never been in a show, maybe apart from one, that's had this response at the end of the show, every show. No matter where we are and no matter where we're going.
It's a star-studded cast with Birds of a Feather actor Leslie Joseph playing Mother Superior and Sandra Marvin, who spent 2 years as Jessie Dingle in Emmerdale.
It's very much capturing a moment with TV, where in live theatre, it is keeping it live, keeping the energy live.
Clive, our younger viewers will know you for your time on CBeebies programmes, especially Tracy Beaker.
That's right, yes. I mean, even some of our older viewers will know me from
I know
Tracy
who
Beaker.
You are.
Give it.
Can I please have some peace and quiet?
It's been nearly 30 years since the first 4 seasons of it that I was in, and I still get recognised from it, which is amazing.
We're in a cost of living crisis. It's all a bit doom and gloom. What is it about this show, do you think, that really connects where other shows haven't?
It's so joyous. People have an escapism from what's going on in you know, the news and everything.
Triumphing over adversity. And I think that's what we need as a society, as people. We need to see that. We need to remember that there is a possibility to win through. And this show goes, yes, not only can you win through, but you can win through with glitter.
With a sequin.
Sequins. I knew I'd get the word wrong.
We all need glitter and sequins in our lives.
We all need a bit of glitter in our lives.
Sounds like a winner to me. Now, this, I think, is my favourite story of the week so far. A reception class in Leeds got the shock of their lives when a tiny, slimy creature leapt out of a fruit bowl at break time. It hopped into the bin, but was quickly rescued by a teacher, and it turns out this little fella travelled over 4,000 miles for a holiday here in Yorkshire. As Heidi Tomlinson reports, this story does have a happy ending.
Anybody like a banana? It was a routine Monday lunchtime in reception class at Rufford Park Primary when suddenly something jumped out of the bananas.
I just heard Mrs. Millen, there's a frog. And I said, surely not. There can't be a frog in our classroom.
Then he jumped into the bin and we captured him with a cup and a box.
This small African reed frog is only 2 centimetres long and needs warm, moist conditions. It's likely he or she hitched a ride in a fruit crate. The tiny amphibian had a gruelling journey hiding in a homely bunch of bananas grown in West Africa, which was shipped in a refrigerated container through the Atlantic Ocean before being loaded onto a lorry destined for Leeds. In total, the journey of over 4,000 miles can take up to 12 days. Well, he doesn't do very much, and at the moment he's hiding under a leaf. But the teachers and children tell me that in the morning he's kind of a muddy brown colour, and as the day goes on and the light increases, he turns into a more yellow shade.
He's really pale at the moment, and he has been darker, but he just keeps changing colour.
So what happens to him now? Well, luckily, school administrator Frankie has agreed to adopt him.
He's just so little, and so I feel really bad for him. And I was going to take him to the reptile centre, but I ended up bringing him home. Yeah, now I've got a new pet frog.
I wonder if it's going to hop on the leaf.
He'll go to his new home tonight, so the children will have to find an alternative classroom fascination. Break time bananas will never be the same again. Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North, Yeadon.
He's cute, isn't he? You go to work and come home with a pet frog. Poor blooming heck, we'd have had the shock of our lives if that jumped out of our bananas.
Well, no, it could have been a deadly spider. Can you imagine that? We'll all be checking out bananas when we go to the supermarket. Let me just show you a few pictures that you've sent in. That was a fantastic sunrise there at Armscliff Crag. Thanks for Steve for sending that one in. The next picture just shows how much the reservoirs are filled back up. That was in a right state last autumn, but it's now full to brimming, which is a very good sign for spring and summer. And that, of course, is the River Nid and the viaduct in Nares. But keep the pictures coming in. Addresses are on your screen right now. So the headline for the next 24 hours remains unsettled, but it is going to be very mild. Some spots could be up to 16 or 17 tomorrow afternoon, but the showers could be heavy if you catch one. And then, well, it's looking a bit grim Friday into the weekend. This feature is going to become slow moving, a bit of an easterly breeze. It means a lot of low cloud, a risk of patchy rain and drizzle, with a slow improvement through Sunday and into early next week. Now, we're just looking down to the south. There's an area of heavy rain which is going to move northeastwards. It looks like it could affect parts of South Yorkshire, maybe West Yorkshire and into Lincolnshire to the north, just showers. But it does paint a signal of an unsettled night to come, with those showery outbreaks of rain, scattered showers to the north. But with all this cloud, the air's coming up from a very mild direction, lows around 9 or 10 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water times at Scarborough 11:47, and again just short of 1 a.m. So a cloudy start with some patchy rain in places. It's soon going to brighten up. Then it's a day of sunny intervals and scattered showers, 1 or 2 heavy, but there'll be some decent sunshine in between those showers. And feast your eyes on these temperatures. 16 degrees, that's the forecast.
Home for a tropical frog, eh?
That's right. It'll be loving it.
Lovely at home. That's it from us. Good night. Don't forget to check your bananas.